member of Youth Brigade of Kaash Foundation. We heartily welcome you all to the first day of the 7-day series of the International Yoga Week held on 15 June 2021. Organized by Society Yoga and Naturopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India and Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, in collaboration with Kaash Foundation's Kaash Swasthya Manthil and with the support of NAP, LNO, Dance and Yoga Center, Prague, Czech Republic, Institute of Yogas, Harrow, United Kingdom, and New Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar, Uttarakhand. The initiative is also generously supported by Tattva, Elements of Healing, Arogya Yoga and Naturopathy Institute, Institute of Wellness Engineering, Uday Iknaya Savira, Pride Age India, Silver Innings, Swami Samartha Vyayam Mandir, Mandapeshwar Utsav Samiti. Today, being the inauguration ceremony, we would be graced with the presence of Dr. Chinmay Pandya, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar, Uttarakhand, India as the guest of honor. Followed by which we will be having the chief guest for the day, Dr. Ishwar Basava Reddy, Director, Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. The event will be further graced by the presence of Dr. Raghavendra Rao, Director, Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India as our inaugural speaker. Followed by which we would be having a special guest, Dr. Om Upadhyay, Director, Research and Administration, Indian Council of Historical Research, New Delhi, India, and Dr. Avkash Jadhav, Head and Associate Professor, Department of History, St. David's College, Autonomous, Mumbai, India. With this, I again take this opportunity to welcome you all to the first day of the 7-day series of the International Yoga Week. Now, what better way to start a yoga-based event than reciting a Sanskrit shloka, which will revive in us our historical attachment with yoga. And hence, to give a head start to the event, I would like to invite the youngest team member of Kaash Foundation, Master Harsh Atal, to please recite the Sanskrit shloka and begin this event with the band. Harsh, the floor is all yours.
Hello, I am Harsh Atal. I am the member of Kaash Foundation. Today, I am going to recite a Sanskrit shloka. Shramaklama pipasoshna shita dinam sahishnutam arogyam chapi paramam vyayam. This means the power to bear labor, exhaustion, guilt, thirst, cold, heat, etc. comes only through exercise and attainment of ultimate health. That is, health is also achieved through exercise. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsh, for beautifully reciting the Sanskrit shloka for us. Now, moving further, I would like to invite Ms. Megha Patel, a potential member of Youth Brigade of Kaash Foundation. Megha has been working with Kaash Swasthya Manthil right from its first health webinar. She has also been a part of the technical team of Kaash Foundation and looking after the technical aspects for multiple occasions. She is a dedicated and humble member who has always been ready to work for the welfare and well-being of the society. With this, I would like to invite Ms. Megha Patel to share a brief overview on the health webinars organized by Kaash Foundation till date. Over to you, Megha.
Thank you, Tatiksha. Good evening to everyone present here. On this note, we heartily welcome you all to the inauguration day of 7 days of International Yoga Week. Under its health vertical, Kaash Foundation, in association with Umasa and Mumbai Karamchari Sangh Vidyapeeth, organized a free naturopathy medical camp on 16th of November 2019. It was supported by Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, and International Naturopathy Organization. Kaash Foundation organized the first and second health webinar on the 21st and 23rd of May respectively on health precautions to be followed after lockdown. The speaker for these webinars were Dr. Parag Mehta, Dr. Jitendra Arya, Dr. Sushant, and Dr. Suryabhan Dongre. The third health webinar was conducted on the 5th of June on how to build physical and mental immunity. The speaker for the session was Ms. Renuka Vyas. On the eve of International Day of Yoga, Kaash Foundation's Kaash Swasthya Manthil and Kevalya Dhama Mumbai organized a 3-day health webinar series on 19th, 20th and 21st of June 2020. The speaker for the fourth health webinar was Dr. Jawahar Mehta, who spoke on yoga, psychology and psychiatry on 19th June. Sri Raviji Dixit was a speaker for the fifth health series on 20th June. He gave a speech on yoga and lifestyle. On 21st June, Dr. Apurva Shenoy spoke on yoga and died as a speaker for the sixth webinar. On 9th of July, we conducted 7th health webinar in which Dr. Jyoti Tumbar was a speaker who spoke on role of naturopathy and yoga on women's health. On 10th of July, we had our 8th health webinar in which Dr. Roshan Amal from NIN was a speaker who spoke on effect of emotions on health. On 26th of July, we had our 9th health webinar for which Narsima Kamath was a speaker and spoke on amazing healing powers of nature. On 7th of August, we hosted our 10th health webinar for which Kritika Tiwari, a consulting pediatrician at Matushri Gomati Hospital, was a speaker and spoke on breastfeeding. A 5-day health event was organized on exploring the application of naturopathy and Ayurveda, which started on 7th September 2020 as 11th Health Series, for which we invited Dr. Suryabhan Dongre as a speaker and spoke on food poisoning in India. On 8th September, we hosted our 12th health series. Our speaker for the day was Dr. Suryabhan Dongre, who spoke on pesticides and its effects in human beings. On 9th September, we had our 13th health series. Our speaker for the day was NM Kamath, who spoke on fast is a fast cure. On 10th September, we hosted our 14th health series for which we had our speaker NM Kamath and spoke on food as a medicine. On 11th September, we had our 15th health series. Our speaker for the day was Ms. Renuka Vyas, who spoke on tuning of alkaline and acidic sources. On 10th October, we had our 16th health webinar on building good mental health as a part of World Mental Health Day, for which we had two speakers, Suchi Bhatt and Kavita Panyam. On 18th November 2020, we had our 17th health series of Dr. Leo Rebello, the director of Natural Health Center, who delivered talk on 10 commandments of health. We had our 18th health series on 5th February 2021, in which Dr. Suresh Jadhav spoke on the benefits of Sujog Health Therapy at Sant Tukaram Udyan, Matunga. From 19th March till 19th April, we also had 5 days of workshop of 30 days weight loss program was conducted by Alpa Mehta. In this coming week of International Yoga Week, we will be hosting our 19th health webinar on 17th June, 20th health webinar on 18th June, and 21st health webinar on 20th June. Over to you, Titiksha.
Thank you, Megha, for enlightening us on the health webinars. Moving further, I would now like to invite Ms. Renuka Vyas, Joint Director, Health, Kaash Foundation, Coordinator, Kaash Swasthya Manthan, to enlighten us on Kaash Foundation. Over to you, Renuka, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Diksha, and good evening, everyone. Kaash Foundation is a Mumbai-based NGO working on the four verticals of E2H2, mainly education, environment, health, and heritage. The foundation was registered on 3rd October 2019 under the Bombay Trust at 1950, founded by Dr. Kaash Jadhav. Kaash Foundation aims at combining and centralizing social work on a universal platform through its team of highly dedicated professionals, professors, academicians, doctors, architects, social workers, and its extensive youth brigade. It also aims to provide people with the scope and hope to initiate their journey of progress and reciprocation that is giving back to the society. The Kaash Foundation have always realized the importance of yoga not in isolation but in sync with several other aspects of human life such as psychology, dietary patterns, and discovering the inner self, and also as an excellent tool to attain the maximum level of health and harmony. It is with the very same enthusiasm and vigor that we bring to you the International Yoga Week, which starts from today and culminates with the International Day of Yoga on 21st June 2021. The entire week would be graced by a galaxy of scholars from diverse fields of expertise to discuss and deliberate upon the various aspects of yoga for the larger benefit of the entire society, including children, women, and senior citizens. Today, we are honored and privileged to have with us some of the most eminent scholars from the National Institute of the country who have also been too generous to collaborate with us for the International Yoga Week. Dr. Raghavendra Rao, Director of the Central Council of Research in Yoga and Naturopathy. Dr. Ishwar Basavaradi, Director of Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, and Dr. Chinmay Pandya, Pro Vice Chancellor of the Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya. The work that the institutes have been doing in the field of yoga and in the field of health as a whole has just been immense. We also have with us today Dr. Omji Upadhyay, the Director of Research and Administration at the Indian Council of Historical Research, who has always supported us in all our and endeavors since the start, either through collaboration or gracing our events with his eminent presence. And lastly, we have our very own founder trustee, Dr. Kaash Jadhav, who is also the head and associate professor of the Department of History at St. Xavier's College, Mumbai, to share his insights and knowledge on yoga. With this, on behalf of Kaash Foundation, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to all our collaborators, CCRY, MD and IY, our international partners, Napleno Dance and Yoga Center of Czech Republic and Institute of Yoga Arts of the United Kingdom. And finally, our affiliated partners, Tattva Elements of Healing, Arogya Yoga and Naturopathy Institute, Institute of Wellness Engineering, Uday Ek Naya Savera, Tide Age India, Silver Innings, Sri Samarth Vyayam Mandir, and Mandapeshwar Utsav Samiti for agreeing to walk with us through the week-long journey of fostering the practice of yoga in our lives. Lastly, I would also thank all our viewers and participants, and we are sure that you would send in your feedback for the International Yoga Week. We would compile all of them as well as a delighted report of all the 7 events of the week into a dossier to be uploaded on our website and also to be sent to all our collaborators. I now hand over the proceedings back to our anchor, Miss Titiksha Kabra. Over to you, Titiksha.
Thank you, Renuka ma'am, for acquainting our viewers with Kaash Foundation. Going ahead, I would now like to invite Ms. Alpa Mehta, Core Committee Member, Kaash Foundation, to acquaint our audience with Kaash Swasthya Manthan and its activities. Over to you, Alpa ma'am.
Titiksha, and good evening, everyone, and welcome. Kaash Swasthya Manthan, a very promising name under the banner of Kaash Foundation, which is a Mumbai-based NGO whose main aim is to work as a stimulant and to create global peace and healthy, harmonious atmosphere. Kaash Foundation's Kaash Swasthya Manthan is one of the 4 verticals along with the education, environment, and heritage. Kaash Swasthya Manthan, which provides service to mankind, is set to make a mark in the field of healthcare. It is actively involved for the benefit and the self-development of each and every individual of society, whether Kaash Swasthya Manthan's only purpose is to create awareness about the natural way and means of healthcare. Its main aim is to remove these from the disease and to live with ease without the pills. Naturopathy, acupressure, sujok are few of the many therapies used to live a healthy life. But yoga also one of the way to keep our mind, body, and soul in a perfect harmony. Yoga leads to union of individual consciousness with that of universal consciousness. India made an impact about yoga on 21st June 2015 by celebrating International Yoga Day. On this day, WHO joined its member states to highlight the benefit of physical and mental health. Since first International Yoga Day, India has made tremendous impact all over the world in exhibiting the value of yoga as a complementary theory and to the practice yoga is a key part in the promoting good health. Kaash Foundation is a group of sincere and dedicated professionals in the field of alternative therapies and under its banner has all the renowned experts to accomplish its vision of health and the disease-free society. Thank you. Over to you, Titiksha.
Thank you, Alpa ma'am, for giving us a brief overview of Kaash Swasthya Manthan and its activities. Moving forward.
Thank you so much, Tatiksha. As we all know that yoga has always been known as a subtle science which has always aimed to unite one's mind, body and soul. Also, yoga has always aimed to achieve self-realization to overcome all kinds of sufferings. The impact of yoga has resonated with not only people in India, but actually with everyone all over the world. Because an increasing number of countries have now started adopting yoga as a way of life. This year, as our country, as well as countries all over the world, were groping with the second wave of COVID-19 and the uncertainty that it has brought along, the health of an individual and the society had become a matter of utmost concern. And the impact of the current issues has just made people of all ages to think and talk not only about physical but also mental health than more than ever before. Needing immunity levels to the highest efficiency, people have been concerned about finding the right, safe, and cost-effective method to maintain their health. At the same time, sporadic lockdowns have resulted in work-from-home scenarios, wherein people have been devoid of outdoor physical activities, thus accentuating the urban sedentary lifestyle. Therefore, considering this all-encompassing situation, the United Nations has declared Yoga at Home, Yoga with Family as a theme for International Day of Yoga 2021. And it is in tune with this that we at Kaash Foundation have brought to you the International Yoga Week, which spans from today till the 21st of June 2021. That is till next Monday. As Ms. Renuka Vyas rightly pointed out, that all of us at Kaash Foundation have always acknowledged yoga's vitality as a way of life and mostly as an excellent tool to attain the maximum level of health and harmony. It is through this week that we would be having scholars from diverse fields of expertise and of professions to come and discuss and deliberate about your insights on yoga and how yoga has helped them in their lives. We will be also having two international scholars from Czech Republic who would be talking about how yoga is perceived and practiced in their own very country. So with this, we sincerely hope that all of you all are walk with us through the 7-day program and take away some insights, some learnings as to how you all could include yoga in your daily lifestyles. With this, I take a leave and I would now give over the proceedings to Pratiksha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pamela, for enlightening us on the concept note. For the ones who have joined in late, this is the first day of the 7-day series of the International Yoga Week, organized by Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, and Morarji Desai, National Institute of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, in collaboration with Kaash Foundation's Kaash Swasthya Manthan and with the support of NAPLNO Dance and Yoga Center, Prague, Czech Republic, Institute of Yoga's Harrow, United Kingdom, and Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar, Uttarakhand. The initiative is also generously supported by Tattva Elements of Healing, Arogya Yoga and Naturopathy Institute, Institute of Wellness Engineering, Udayak Naya Savera, Pride Age India, Silver Innings, Swami Samartha Vyayam Mandir, Mandapeshwar Utsav Samiti. Without taking much of your time, it's now time to hear it from our guest of honor, Dr. Chinmay Pandya. Dr. Chinmay is the Pro Vice Chancellor, Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar, Uttarakhand, India. He is the editor of the Dev Sanskriti, an interdisciplinary international journal that addresses a broad range of Indian intellectual interests, including Vedic philosophy, culture, Ayurveda, etc. He is chairperson of the International Festival of Yoga, Culture and Spirituality, and also being the director of DSVB. He is also invited as an expert in the list of yoga experts furnished by the World Health Organization. Alongside this, Dr. Pandya continues a busy psychiatric practice on a pro bono basis. Also, they are our primary collaborators and we present our gratitude for the same. And today, Dr. Chinmay would be speaking on relevance of yoga. But since Dr. Chinmay could not make it today due to some engagements, I would take this honor to convey the message sent by him. The message reads as, at the outside, let me first congratulate you for the initiative by Kaash Foundation's Kaash Manthan to celebrate the International Yoga Week from 15th June 2021 to 21st June 2021. The present times has indeed necessitated the organization of such initiatives to promote and propagate the vitality of yoga in our lives. The diligence and dedication with which Kaash Manthan has been working in the health sector is indeed incredible and fabulous. We at Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya have learned of the various projects and endeavors undertaken by Kaash Foundation on its four verticals of education, environment, health, and heritage since its inception in October 2019. Once again, prayers to Param Pujya Gurudev, Shri Ram Sharma Acharya Ji for the success of your event and well-being of yours. Sincerely, Dr. Chinmay Pandya. Thank you, Dr. Chinmay, for your appreciation, support, and best wishes. Even though Dr. Chinmay was unable to make it, he has made sure that his knowledge and experience reaches us through other means. So on the screen is the recorded video of Dr. Chinmay Pandya, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar, Uttarakhand, India, speaking on the topic relevance of yoga.
जो पहला सूत्र है दोस्तों, समत्वम योग उच्यते, और दूसरा सामान्य सा सूत्र है, बुद्ध युक्तो जहाति है उभय सुकृत दुष्कृते तस्माद योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम। कर्म को जो पहला सूत्र है दोस्तों, समत्वम योग उच्यते, और दूसरा सामान्य सा सूत्र जो पहला सूत्र है दोस्तों, समत्वम योग उच्यते, और दूसरा सामान्य सा सूत्र है, बुद्ध युक्तो जहाति है उभय सुकृत दुष्कृते तस्माद योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम। कर्म को कुशलता पूर्वक करने का नाम योग है। कर्म तो हम सभी कर रहे हैं, पर कर्म हम लोग मुक्त होने के लिए नहीं कर रहे, बंधने के लिए कर रहे हैं। हर व्यक्ति कर्म कर रहा है, पर और ज्यादा बंधने के लिए कर रहा है, और ज्यादा बनता चला जा रहा है, मुक्त होने के लिए नहीं कर रहा है। भगवान कहते हैं कि जब आप मुक्त होने के लिए कर्म को करते हैं तब आप योग को उपलब्ध होते हैं। और मुक्त होने के लिए कर्म कैसे करते हैं? मुक्त होने के लिए आपको दोस्तों वर्तमान में उपलब्ध होना जरूरी है। हम लोग जितने भी कर्म कर रहे हैं उसमें या तो हम लोग भविष्य की सोच रहे हैं, हमने कर्म करना अभी शुरू नहीं किया, उससे पहले हमारे मन में सपने बनने शुरू हो गए। आपको कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली, मेरे को कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली, आदमी कर्म करने से पहले सोचने में लगा हुआ है कि आज से 1 साल बाद क्या हो जाएगा, 2 साल बाद क्या हो जाएगा, 20 साल बाद क्या हो जाएगा। अभी तो कर्म होना भी शुरू नहीं हुआ है। या तो आदमी भविष्य के सपने बना रहा है, या फिर जो गुजर गया है उसके बारे में सोचने में लगा है। वर्तमान में हम लोग उपलब्धि नहीं है। इस क्षण में हमारी ऊर्जा का एक भी हिस्सा उपलब्ध नहीं हो पाता। पूरी की पूरी ऊर्जा या तो सपनों को देखने में चली जाती है या फिर ग्लानि करने में चली जाती है। वर्तमान में उपलब्ध होने का नाम योग है। वर्तमान में जब आदमी उपलब्ध होता है तो आदमी योग को उपस्थित होता है। भगवान
Thank you, Chinmay sir, for sharing with us your knowledge and experience and relevance of yoga. We indeed learned a lot. We would also like to extend our gratitude for your collaboration and continuous support with us. For all the viewers, the feedback form is in the description. Moving ahead, I would now like to invite Ms. Lipika Poddar, team member, Kaash Foundation, to take the event further. Over to you, Lipika.
Thank you, Titiksha. Good evening, everyone. I have the privilege to introduce Dr. Ishwar Basavardi. He is a PhD in yoga philosophy. He has been the director of Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga for the last 16 years. He has had more than 32 years of experience in yoga education, training, therapy, and research, and is also one of the eminent yoga masters of India. He is indeed instrumental in bringing the common yoga protocol for the International Day of Yoga. Since 2018, he has also played an important role in the establishment of 159 yoga wellness centers, 4 yoga therapy centers in tertiary hospitals, 20 yoga wellness centers in CGHS dispensaries, and 4 yoga centers in SAI stadia. Today, Dr. Basavardi will be deliberating on yoga, our ancient wisdom, and its relevance today. Over to you, sir.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I noticed the esteemed presence of Dr. Chinmay ji and all the eminent personalities and all the viewers. My pranams to you all. Namaskar. At the outset, I congratulate the organizers for organizing this event. Let me know how much time I will get, how much time I have to speak. Let me know how much time I can speak. कितने समय तक बोलना है?
Sir, you have 15 minutes, sir.
Hello?
Sir, you have 15 minutes. You can give your presentation.
Okay, thank you. I will speak then extemporally. First of all, see the International Day of Yoga. This is one of the important event the last 7 years. Yoga has the history of more than 5,000 years. And over the years, it has been evolved according to the needs of the common people. Therefore, it has become our cultural heritage. Yoga is our culture. ये हमारा सांस्कृतिक धरोहर है. So why it has become a culture? It has taken care of every aspect of human beings and at their living and livelihood and also spiritual well-being. Therefore, in India, if you go to villages also, you can see they are not practicing yoga like us for half an hour, 45 minutes. Yoga is their lifetime. Early morning, waking up with the nature at 3:34 and going to the sleep immediately after the sunset, 1 hour, 2 hours. This is the tradition and the food habits, samuhik bhojan and working culture and celebrating the various festivals. If you come to my village, it's a family till now. So that is our culture, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is the culture. Here this culture has been mentioned. It is in our Indus Valley civilization. This culture was there, not only getting some seals and symbols of practicing yoga, but it has been noticed that yoga was integral part of Indus Valley civilization. There are several other references and documentations which proves that it was present. Then if you start from the Rig Veda, in every Vedas and then there is a reference of yoga. So why yoga was there in the Rig Veda? What is the essence of man? The spirit or the soul is the essence of man. What is the essence of this universe? It is universal consciousness or it is called Paramatman. To understand my essence, the yogis has found a method of yoga. That is suprasensory, supra-intellectual knowledge. Indriyatita, buddhyatita, jnana. So this can be acquainted or gained only by the practice of dhyana. That's why Vyasa says yoga samadhi. In that state of kaivalya or in that state of samadhi, extreme transcendental state, all these literatures have been written. Therefore, they are prevailing till today. In all the four Vedas, then the Upanishads, then the Puranas, epics, Mahakavyas, Agamas, and all these things, and there are huge references of yoga from the ancient time till today. Then there are three important phases, Vedas and Upanishads. Then there comes to the psychological interventions by Buddha and Maharshi Patanjali. Then comes the Tantric tradition. So there are different schools of yoga have been evolved from ancient time to today. Why I'm giving this background? This is the culture of yoga has been evolved. I use the word evolved from ancient time to till today. Then in the medieval part, there is a Bhakti yoga was dominating. In the 8th century to 12th century AD, Hatha yoga practices are dominating. Now in the modern era, integral yoga of Aurobindo, Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi. So all these things have been evolved. In the modern times, some people use yoga for fitness. Then it is for wellness. Then this is mentioned management of lifestyle disorders. Now it is being used for the non-communicable diseases management. Yoga is being used. Therefore, there are various stages according to the need of the people. Yoga is being used. Under the pandemic condition, again yoga has played a vital role in three ways. yogic detoxification practices, neti, dhauti, kapala, bhati, including our naturopathy systems, different therapeutical models of naturopathy, Ayurveda. It is integrated Indian traditional systems. So their detoxification processes, then it comes to some asanas, which help to improve my metabolism, respiration, then sound sleep or quality sleep, some yoga nidra practices. Then pranayama enhance the lungs capacity. Healthy lungs leads to the healthy heart. Healthy heart leads to the healthy vagal functions. Healthy vagal functions leads to many important health dimensions will be improved. So then dhyana help us to manage our emotions and mind management and emotional balance management. So therefore, the combination of asana, pranayama and dhyana helps to develop the immunity, overcome the stress in the pandemic condition. And in three ways, there are some people who have got the COVID for their management. And there are some people working with the COVID patients, healthcare workers. We did a research, and those who are practicing yoga for 14 to 28 days, none of them have got the COVID. So that means not 100%, but there is a immunity building mechanism. Then those who are at home, they don't have the COVID, but they are under the stress. There is a fear. If I go out, I may get the COVID. That is worse. Then fourth dimension is after COVID, there is a rehabilitation process. There are some post-COVID complications. There also yoga has been found very effective. Why I have started from the ancient time till today? From the Vedic period to today, yoga and yoga practices have been evolved. That's why I respect every intervention which has been presented in a beneficial format for the mankind, human population. I respect each and every system. That is one. Now the second one, how yoga works. There are two ways. One is in the worldly life. What are the important things? One is ahara, nidra, dhaya, maithuna. Then these are the four instincts. All our worldly problems are mostly related to this physiological. Animals also having these instincts. They are much healthier because they simply follow that. But we are having the mind, we are having the intellect. So this will go in two ways. If mind has been used for the upgradation, so I have been evolved. I can take the decision. I can update my knowledge. If mind has been surrendered to the empirical pleasures, indriya janya, bhautika, santosha, then slowly mind is diverted. Therefore, yoga has three kinds of practices. One to physical body, there is a hatha yoga practices. Then it is for the prana, that's a kriya yoga. Then for the mind management, it is a yoga of Patanjali. The combination of three hatha yoga, kriya yoga, Patanjali yoga, we have mentioned these things very beautifully in the common yoga protocol of 45 minutes developed by the Ministry of Ayush in the gracious presence of all the yoga masters, many yoga masters. Then after all these things, we are getting the problems. Why? Because once my mind is there, then it should be stable. How it can be? We have to cultivate the habit of prema, love, affection, compassion. This has been taught in the principles and practices of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga in Narada Samhita said, unconditional love towards God is Bhakti. But can you see the God? But I can see my daughter, my student, my wife, my parents. So I start loving them unconditionally, niswartha. Therefore, that respecting and loving each individuals shall help me to realize the God principle. God is within our mind. When my mind becomes completely filled with love, affection, there God exists. Personal God exists. Therefore, bhakti teaches me to love each and everything. That will help me to overcome matsara, moha, krodha, all these things will be overcome. Then after this, we have to work. Once we born, we have to do work. But every work comes with some fruits. Good work comes with good fruit, bad work comes with bad fruit. Gita explains us me, karmanne vadikarase ma phaleshu, nishkama karma or selfless action. I have to do my work diligently, but at the same time, I have to be selfless action is the principle. So once we start following the bhakti and karma, my intellectual capabilities are opened up. I have a discrimination power, jnana. So why jnana? Because once we born avidya, ignorance is always, with ignorance we have a pancha kleshas, avidya, smita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. So to overcome and make our chitta in niruddhavastha, our mind or the chitta has 5 states. One is mood, it is very rigid, dull, non-active. Another is it is kshipta, always moving. Vikshipta, sometime it is silent, sometime it is always vibrant. Then ekagra, it is concentrated, nirmala, pavitra. Then niruddha, it is completely, absolutely transcendental state. So in that jnana, I can realize my own nature. Tada drashtuhu swarupe vasthanam. Therefore, when Patanjali proposed Ashtanga Yoga, said Ashuddhikshaye, Jnana Dipti Viveka Khyati. These are the 3 fundamental things Patanjali said. What is that Ashuddhikshaye? So all we are born, it is the toxins are accumulating. Ashuddhata is there. So all the Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, etc. are helping us to overcome these toxins accumulated, physical, physiological, psychological, emotional, and also because of our action. Dhyana will subsidize this. Therefore, the practice of Hatha Yoga, Kriya Yoga, and Yoga of Patanjali, for the worldly life, my mind is calm, body is active. I am getting very energetic for the work. Following the principles of karma, and a harmonious personality, that is called a holistic youth. All these principles of 6 yogas has been depicted in our common yoga protocol of 45 minutes, as I said. There are some prayer, some loosening practices, then some
Sorry
asanas.
to interrupt, but we would like your concluding remarks.
Yeah. One is all these things will lead us to asanas, then comes to pranayama and also dhyana. This will lead us to live a healthy and happy life. On this occasion, on 21st, we are all going to celebrate International Day of Yoga. Do practice 45 minutes. The national event starts from 7 to 7:45. There are several links are there. You kindly join from your own place. Be at home. Be with yoga. With this theme, let us celebrate together by practicing Common Yoga Protocol on 21st of June 2021. My best wishes. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir. For all the viewers who have just joined us, we had Dr. Ishwar share his wise words. He is the director of Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga. Thank you, sir, for collaborating with us, and we really look forward to many more future collaborations. And now I would like to invite our second speaker for today. I'm overjoyed to speak about Dr. Raghavendra Rao. Dr. Raghavendra Rao completed his bachelor's degree in naturopathy and yogic sciences from Mangalore University in 1998. On completing his PhD in 2007, he joined Healthcare Global Enterprises Limited, Southeast Asia's largest network in oncology hospitals, as a senior scientist and head CAM program. Over the years of his career, he had 89 international research publications and one international book chapter. He has also completed several research projects in rheumatoid arthritis, pre-diabetes, diabetes, and CVD risk prevention using both yoga and naturopathy interventions at Swami Vivekananda Yoga University, MS Ramaya Hospital, HCG Bangalore, Institute of Oncology. Currently, Dr. Raghavendra Rao is the director of the Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Dr. Rao will be deliberating on the role of yoga in COVID. We welcome you, sir. The floor is all yours.
Thank you. Am I audible? Thank you. So greetings from CCRYN, and I thank Kaash Foundation for having me here to deliberate on the topic of yoga for COVID. Respected Dr. Ishwar Basarati ji, Chinmay Panda ji, other dignitaries and speakers in this forum, and other panelists and other attendees of this particular online function. It gives me great pleasure to see the activities of Kaash Foundation, an NGO based out of Mumbai, doing such yeoman service to the community by spreading awareness about yoga, about health, and trying to improve the health, bring about awareness among the communities to adopt appropriate lifestyle for the betterment of their health. It is indeed heartening to see such young people here among all of us trying to be a part of this particular event and listening eagerly to the lectures which we are proposing. And I also thank Dr. Ishwar Basarati ji for putting such eloquent lecture, for giving such eloquent lecture in such a simplified term on the definition of what yoga is all about and what yoga as a lifestyle should be in times of COVID. So I would like to share certain things about how yoga could be used in COVID-19 patients and share what sort of research has been going on in this, how we are integrating yoga into COVID-19 care along with the conventional mainstream medicine. So I would just begin by sharing some of my slides. So we have started some work with respect to COVID-19 patients in several hospitals. We started this work with Rajiv Gandhi Super Speciality Hospital in New Delhi, south of New Delhi, at AIIMS National Cancer Institute campus at Jajjar, Haryana, Lady Hardinge Medical College, and AIIMS Delhi and AIIMS Rishikesh. Let me tell you this, in the April 2020, when this COVID was just raising its head, ugly head in our communities, you had cases, you had patients who were anxious about it because of the lockdown and because of the warnings issued by the ministry and by various ministries regarding to take precautions of not contracting COVID. This also created a lot of anxiety among the population, and we also saw that people started developing fear psychosis about COVID when they initial days of the COVID, when they started getting admitted to the hospital. I still remember the day when we stepped into Rajiv Gandhi Super Speciality Hospital, started giving yoga interventions for COVID-19 patients. The day we entered into the hospital, the same day in the early morning, we had got a news of a patient falling to death from 7th floor of the hospital building. This is a COVID-19 patient who had severe anxiety, who had fear about COVID, fear about contracting this disease, and he committed suicide. Okay? So this is also a very important problem with COVID-19 patients. It is the fear, the unknown fear of uncertainty. What will happen to me? This is going to be a very dangerous disease. Am I going to end up in ICU? Am I going to die because of this COVID? Unfortunately, people are not really educated about COVID. People have certain misconceptions about COVID. There are certain misprevalent in the community about COVID. COVID has become stigmatized in the society as well. Okay, and by pasting boards in front of the houses that is a COVID patient, it was like ostracizing somebody from the community on the initial days. But now these things are not happening. The government has also learned, ministry has also learned a lot of things in the last 1 year about management of COVID, psychological and social repercussions of COVID, and they've changed their guidelines time and again, changed their advisories again to suit the needs of the population and to manage this pandemic very effectively. Now, coming to COVID as well, let know very clearly that 85% of these patients who have COVID are asymptomatic or they have mild symptoms. They don't have any symptoms at all. Okay, and these follow the underlying iceberg concept. So only those people with severe symptoms, who have breathlessness, who are dyspneic, and who require oxygen therapy or require hospitalization, are the ones who are seen on the surface, who are seen clinically, who end up in the hospitals in COVID care centers. And out of this, 15% of them are severe kind of things. They require moderate oxygen support, they require ventilator, or they may also go to ICU as well. And mortality rates are almost around 2% in this population as well. So we know that there is a large number of patients who are in home isolation because they don't require really admission here. They have a small flu, they have a cold, they have a cough, and they get well very soon within a matter of 2 to 3 days. What should be taken care of here is they need to be masked well, they need to be isolated well, and they are not supposed to touch surfaces. We need to keep them in under such conditions and give them good hydration and good nutrition, and along with medications and other self-help approaches which you do, like you take Hada, you take steam, all these things can play a very important role in managing their mild symptoms, and they get well very soon, very quickly, within a week or so. Okay. This is a kind of population which is there, it's the majority which is there in COVID patients. Now, if you see the COVID symptoms here, you see about 90% of them, more than 90% of them having fever, you have loss of appetite in 40 to 84%, fatigue in 44 to 70, loss of smell in 15 to 30%, loss of taste even, you have cough, you have muscle aches and pains, you have malaise. Okay, so all these are some of the important symptoms of COVID. And the second wave of COVID, we also saw diarrhea and GI symptoms. We also saw neurological symptoms as well, and we also saw lots of people having coagulation disorders as well. Okay, so these are some of the important aspects. COVID has undergone more transformations, become more virulent, has got systemic manifestations. In the sense, it's got clinical manifestations because it can affect not just the lungs but other organ systems of the body as well. So now we wanted to look at what are the myths about COVID here. People are trying to take care of COVID by different means. People are going to extreme measures to take care of COVID. And you can see, for example, you get some vegetables from the market, you wash the vegetables thoroughly in salt water, you soak them for about an hour in salt water or hot water, you dry them in the sunlight for 3 to 4 hours, and then use them. Same thing happens with paper as well. Okay, so people have a belief that touching the surface of a contaminated, anything which can be contaminated can also lead to COVID as well. These have led to a lot of myths prevailing in the community. There have so many myths like these have been also updated in the World Health Organization website. We wanted to study about the myths in communities and how these myths are shaping up patients' behavior against COVID as well. These were the 15 myths we saw in April 2020 in WHO website from Center for Disease Control, and they were looking at all these myths which patients were talking frequently of. They found that sanitizers, alcohol helps in killing the virus. Some people believe drinking alcohol also can prevent COVID. Exposure to warm temperatures above 25 degrees centigrade can prevent COVID as well. People are taking hot showers thinking that they can prevent COVID. So when you went out of the house, came back to the house, you have to soak your clothes in the hot water and you have to take a hot water bath as well. And saline drinks prevents corona infection. Eating garlic was supposed to prevent corona infection. Okay. Hand dryers were also supposed to help in killing the coronavirus. These are some of the things, and some people also felt coronavirus could be transmitted by mosquito bites as well. Okay, and some people felt antibiotics can prevent or cure corona infection. So these are some of the very common myths seen in the community during the last year of April 2020. But today, same website in WHO speaks about 44 different myths about COVID. 15, it is just doubled to 44 amount of myths. There's also been a petition, I think you must be aware of Juhi Chawla, who was talking about 5G networks, okay, rollout of 5G networks, increasing the pandemic or increasing and causing the second wave of COVID. Okay, and you also have people wearing themselves in dung and then taking a swim in the dung pools, thinking that cow dung is also holy, it can also prevent COVID and can cure somebody from COVID as well. So there are people who are also worshipping, they are making goddess of Corona called Coronamma, especially in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu and UP and all. And authorities are being very quick to remove these kind of superstitions. So all these things can come into communities, and this is quite disturbing because once these myths come there, they have a different take on COVID. They try to outcast people. They try to see that nobody goes near the person. They make them untouchables. There are some cases in the village, especially where people who are supposed to have COVID had to live in a hilly region or not allowed to come into the village itself, and they were left to fend for themselves. So these are kind of things which can really play havoc to the society. COVID, and we were looking at the survey about 4,002 respondents across India, and what we saw was 93% and above of the population, there was some myths about COVID prevailing at some point of time. So huge amount of myths. Everybody has some myths and misconceptions about COVID, and that was not going out so easily. Okay, and we saw about the score. Means COVID myth score was of 6.34 initially, and next 6 months it went on to 7.37. Means to say in the last 1 year, myths about COVID also dramatically increased. Okay, and we're also looking for what was causing these myths. The reason for all these myths is because of the word immunity. Okay, so people used to use the word boosting immunity. They used to take what not, everything from paints, sanitizer, home cleaning agents, soaps, detergents, plywoods, and even burgers are all advertising on the concept fit for immunity. Okay, so all these were talking about boosting immunity. And when you look at Google search word, you can find month on month a number of articles regarding these keywords which are there for COVID cure or cure for coronavirus. All these things brought out so much search articles that these were also increasing exponentially over time. And we also saw that this was related to boosting immunity. And this one keyword of boosting immunity also led people to take recourse to complementary alternative modalities over the last 1 year. What we saw was the amount of myths which was prevalent in the community was also severely proportional to the number of articles published on the Google search engine as well as on other social media platforms as well. Okay, this is about myths about COVID. Very important for us to understand is if you have COVID, if you get tested, if you have flu or any other symptoms, please get tested. See your doctor. Take treatment immediately. Do not delay the treatment because once you start having pneumonia, once it spreads deeper into the lung tissues, once you have a coagulation problem, then it's very difficult for you to come out of it. Okay, so this is a very, very important aspect. So prevention is better than cure. The only way you can prevent yourself is to have the right knowledge, and that is going to empower you to take care of COVID. Let us come to another important aspect of it.
So we would like you to give your concluding remarks.
Okay, so we want to look at one aspect of stress and infections, and we saw that there's a study which was done. I'm not going to all these details. I'll just quickly go over my study. Okay, so what we did was we used yoga in patients with COVID. We gave a bunch of asanas, small asanas, easy to do asanas, hand stretch breathing, yogic breathing exercise because we want to improve the respiratory effort. We want to remove the secretions from your respiratory tract. And we also gave them Brahmari pranayama, Nadi Shuddhi pranayama. And what we saw was, I'm not going to the details of this. What we saw was we measured all these stress responses in this population. We're looking at the sleep rates. We're looking at the quality of sleep. We're looking at oxygen saturation levels. I'm looking at the stress levels also. And what we saw was, this is how we can do. We are assessing the stress levels using a small sensor mat called DOSI developed by IIT Mumbai. And you can see here, patients, corona positive patients doing yoga in the wards. And you have the yoga instructor and the PPE suit teaching them the yoga interventions here for the patients. So we use this sensor to monitor the patient's stress levels, heart rate, oxygen saturation, etc. And we also gave them mobile apps to monitor the stress levels before and after practice. And what we saw was a decrease in your stress levels, especially with respect to before and after yoga intervention of within 1 week. And we saw a better relaxation response with yoga. People were able to sleep well with yoga, were able to recover well with yoga. We also saw that oxygen saturation improved in the patients who recourse to yoga interventions. So only 4.2% in the yoga group compared to 14.7% in the control group required oxygen therapy. I mean, it's additional supplemental oxygen. So this is a very important development because it went on to show that yoga can help in preventing exacerbation of mild symptoms of COVID. Okay, people who are hospitalized with symptoms of COVID and those may go into a serious form, may require oxygen therapy. It was helping in preventing such aggravation. So this was how we were monitoring every day the patients in the wards. So it was like, because we could not go into the wards, we had sensor technology using there, and we're measuring the sleep, we're measuring the quality of sleep, how much duration they slept, what is the quality of sleep on a morning when they get up from sleep, are they feeling fresh or not, do they recover from stress or not. So we are doing this monitoring them day to day for the 7 days of this program. What I could like to tell you in the last is integrating yoga in aspects of COVID patients is very, very beneficial. It improves lung capacity, it removes all the secretions, it prevents exacerbation of COVID-19 disease, and it also improves oxygen saturation. What I say to my people is learn to breathe. We all do shallow breathing, practice the art of breathing, learn to breathe properly. Okay, this should become a campaign because we were all running around oxygen concentrators. We were all running around oxygen tanks for giving oxygen to the patients. But if you can't take care of the oxygen concentrator within us, our lungs within us, that's where you end up with. So please take care of your oxygen concentrator within you by improving your lung capacity, by doing regular yoga and regular breathing exercises. I'm sure you'll be able to ward off COVID or with any complications out of COVID. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm sure all our viewers are going to take back some valuable and relevant information from your speech, and very rightfully said that we need to work on the oxygen concentrators inside us. Thank you, sir, for collaborating with us and always encouraging us. I would now like to hand over the proceedings to Titiksha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ishwar sir and Raghavendra sir. Thank you, Lipika. For the ones who have joined in late, this is the first day of the 7-day series of International Yoga Week, organized by Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, and Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, in collaboration with Kaash Foundation's Kaash Swasthya Manthan and with the support of NAPLNO Dance and Yoga Center, Prague, Czech Republic, Institute of Yoga, Harrow, United Kingdom, and Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar, Uttarakhand. The initiative is also generously supported by Tattva Elements of Healing, Aryoga Yoga and Naturopathy Institute, Institute of Wellness Engineering, Uday Ek Naya Sabira, Pride Age India, Silver Innings, Swami Samartha Vyayam Mandir, Mahadepeshwar Utsav Samiti. Also, for all the viewers, the feedback form is in the description. Till now, we have had a guest of honor, Dr. Chinmay Pandey, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar, Uttarakhand, India, who spoke on the topic relevance of yoga. And our chief guest, Dr. Ishwar Basarva Reddy, Director, Morarji Desai, National Institute of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, who spoke on yoga, our ancient wisdom and its relevance today. We also had Dr. Raghavendra Rao, Director, Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, as our inaugural speaker, sharing his views on the topic, the role of yoga in COVID. Now, going ahead, I would like to invite Ms. Preeti Sabu, team member, Kaash Foundation, coordinator, Kolkata chapter, to take the event further. Over to you, Preeti ma'am.
Thank you, Titiksha, for giving me this opportunity today to introduce our eminent speaker, Dr. Omji Upadhyay. Dr. Omji Upadhyay is enriched with an experience of almost 16 years in research, teaching, and administration. He has participated and presented his research papers in more than 60 national and international conferences. He has also been involved in the organization of more than 30 national and international conferences. Dr. Upadhyay has 6 published books and 30 published research papers to his credit. Some of his notable published works include Indian Culture and Heritage in South and Southeast Asia, Bhakti, its implications, Nath Panth or Bhakti Andolan, and Bharatiya Rashtriyata, Atit Se Vartaman, which has 3 volumes. Currently, Dr. Omji Upadhyay is the Director, Research and Administration of the Indian Council of Historical Research as well as a member of several societies, committees, and Board of Studies. Today, Dr. Omji Upadhyay will be deliberating on yoga, the only path for a holistic well-being. I would like to thank from our Kaash Foundation for always supporting us in our endeavors. He has been our sincere supporter of Kaash Foundation and CAPD, that is Center for Academic and Professional Development. On behalf of Kaash Foundation, we would always look forward for your support with your knowledge and ideas in all of future endeavors. Over to you, Dr. Omji Upadhyay. Namaste.
Thank you. Goddess of knowledge and music, Ma Saraswati. Distinguished and eminent speakers of this inaugural session of week-long celebrations. Chief guest, Honorable Dr. Ishwar V. Vasav ji. Guest of honor, Dr. Chinmay Pandya ji, Dr. Raghavendra Rao sir, and the chief architect of this International Yoga Week, whom I say that he is one of the most dynamic personalities and versatile personalities I have ever met, Dr. Avakash Jadhav ji. And it is a matter of surprise for me that Dr. Avakash never takes Avakash from the work. He never takes leave from these academic activities and works. And his entire team, Preeti ji, Lipika, and the entire team. Participants, thank you all from core of my heart for giving me this opportunity amidst the galaxy of intellectuals, or I should say the top of this field, as this is not my field of expertise. Namaskar. I demos a slok of Yajurveda, Sa Sanskriti, Sa Prathama Sanskriti Vishwabhara, that we Indian are bearers of the oldest culture in the world. Rigveda instructs us in very clear terms that Indram Vardhanto Apturah Krinanto Vishwamariyam, that is, be active, spread the message of greatness of God, do work for prosperity, and make the entire world Arya, that is faced, that is great. And no doubt, in this task, yoga and spirituality have been our greatest and sharpest. The origin of yoga is speculated to date back to early Vedic period. Vedic rishis are the most ancient after Bhagwan Shiva, who is considered to be Adi Yogi. Vedic rishis are the most ancient, you can say, practitioners of yoga. It is the yoga and its practices are mentioned very much in Rigveda. As a student of history, I talk on its historical development very briefly and possible ways. I would only name the ancient scriptures, and it has been mentioned ascetic practices, concentration, meditation, and bodily postures described in the Vedas may have been precursors to yoga. The earliest evidence of yogis and yogic tradition, yogic philosophy, is found in the Kesi Sukta of Rigveda, Kesi hymn of the Rigveda. Early references of yogic practices like pranayam, it has been referred in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and pratyahar is mentioned in Chandogya Upanishad. I'm just tracing its historicity. Taittiriya Upanishad clearly defines yoga as the mastery of body and senses. In the same way, techniques for controlling breath and vital energies are mentioned in the Brahmanas and Atharva Veda. Vaisheshik, Brahma, and Nyaya Sutras. They also discuss yoga in detail. Later, Maharshi Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. It is regarded as the comprehensive compilation of the formal yoga philosophy. Astanga yoga has been referred there. That is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Samadhi, Astangani. It is described in the Yoga Sutra. Patanjali incorporates epistemology, metaphysics, ethical practices, systematic exercises, and self development techniques for body, mind, and soul. Classical yoga of Yoga Vasistha and Bhagavad Gita, Astanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Kundalini of Saivism, Buddhist and Jain meditation, and Tantra Yoga all aim to help our health, longevity, that is long life, and finally the ultimate goal of life, that is liberation, that is moksha, nirvana, or keval. In fact, Indian rishis, Indian sages have done many scientific miracles and research through yogic practices. Yoga has been our most important intangible cultural heritage for thousands of years. It is said in our scriptures that sarira madhyam khalu dharma sadhanam. The basis of almost all actions is our body. There has been mentioned a number of ways and methods to keep body fit and healthy. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that Chanchala Himana Krishna Pramati Balabhadram. The mind drags the senses to the objects. And when desires, particularly the worldly desires, are not fulfilled, a sort of depressive psyche develops and it generates a number of diseases in our body. The fickle habits of the mind are the main reason for making our bodies sick. That is why our sages, our ancient sages, our rishis, they propounded yoga to stop the tendencies of the mind, which is called yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. The word chitta means the inner conscience, our antahkaran. Vritti means the functions, the activities, or the behavior of the chitta. Yoga is the arresting the vrittis of our chitta. There are thousands and thousands of vrittis in the chitta, and arresting the vrittis of the chitta is called yoga. Arresting has two steps. The first is by evacuating all the undesired vrittis from the chitta and keeping only the desired vrittis in it. And the second method is to make the chitta completely vrittiless. So, yoga is the seizures of vrittis, or we can say that the seizures of the thoughts of the mind. So, yoga is the stage where there is no fluctuation of the mind. So, there is absolute control over thoughts. Several yogis have defined it in different ways. Kathopanishad defines yoga on the lines of Maharshi Patanjali. Wielding indriyas, that is senses, and mind, motionless, is yoga. It is defined by Kathopanishad. It has been also defined that the union of Jivatma and Paramatma is yoga, the supreme soul, the soul and the supreme soul is yoga. Sometimes if we utter the word yoga, generally several people think of just tough physical postures and some breathing practices only. This is a very distorted idea of what yoga is. It literally means union. Now the question is that what does this union mean? For ages, the Sanatana Dharma, the Hindu way of life, have been saying that the ultimate or supreme soul, the Param Brahma or the God, is everywhere. We have always said that Ekoham Bahushya or Ekam Sadvipra Bahudha Badanti Agnim Yamam Matarishwana Bahu. The ultimate truth is one. The ultimate energy is one. So yoga is not about bending and twisting our body or holding our breath only. It is a mechanism to get ourselves to that state of experience where we see the reality just the way it is. In real sense, yoga is the union of Jivatma and Paramatma. In fact, yoga is to expand the boundary of our sensation in such a way that our experience for the whole universe seems as a part of ourselves. Everything becomes one. That is union. In fact, among the Yoga Sutra, which from which generally form the bedrock of today's yoga, only one sutra is dedicated to asana. Patanjali says, Sthiram Sukham Asanam. It means a posture which is comfortable and firm. That should be your asana. Though asanas are very preparatory steps, but these were propagated as the whole of yoga. Yoga means to be in perfect tune on all the fronts, be it physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual, emotional, etc., etc. I mean, our body, mind, spirit, and the existence are in absolute harmony. When we fine tune ourselves to a point where everything functions so beautifully within us, we have noticed time and again that just a little happiness liberates us from our usual limitations of energy and capability. When we are happy, our energies function far better. It seems that we have endless energy. In the state when we feel happy, we feel that we have endless energy. If a little happiness can do this to us, we may imagine that if our body and mind could function in a completely different state of relaxation and a certain level of blissfulness, what will happen? We would definitely be released from so many things that most people suffer from. Sometimes very trivial things are very common diseases take all our capability away from for so many days, for weeks. But with yoga, our body, mind, inner conscience, our whole existence will be kept at its highest possible peak. When we activate our energies, we may function in a different way. In fact, what we refer to as capability, or talent, or creativity, is just a certain way our energies function. I would just like to compare two philosophies. I mean, our yogic philosophy and one philosophy from the West, which we call the philosophy of existence, Astitwavad. Kierkegaard, Albert Camus, and Sartre. They gave a philosophy, and it concluded with the line, or the conclusion, the final conclusion was that life is nothing but a continuous absurd. Life is nothing but a continuous absurd. And our yogic philosophy, they taught to the entire world to live a balanced life, to synchronize all our faculties, be it mental, be it physical, be it spiritual. We it taught us to synchronize all our faculties. If we gain sort of mastery over our own energies, we will do things that we never imagined that it was possible. This is the experience of crores and crores of people who have started doing yogic practices. Basically, it is the inner technology of creating situations the way we want them. Yoga is a tool to find ultimate expression to life. We all must explore and know this. Thank you all of you. Sarve bhavantu sukhna, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukh bhag bhavet, tanme manah shiva sankalpamastu. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your beautiful insights. And I can see that you are a true yogi that who just kept his 15 minutes, your speech up to, proper 15 minutes. I didn't have to say or anything in between. And giving us a broad definition of yoga. Most of us think that yoga is just few postures, and we people like me who cannot do such postures just limit ourselves. But it is more than that. It's the unity of the spirituality of body and soul. Thank you so much. Now, moving forward, we have our next speaker, Dr. Kaash Yadav. Dr. Kaash Yadav. ABA, he's a gold medalist in history and a PhD in the labor movement. Dr. Avkash Jadav's scholarly works revolved around labor studies, religion and philosophy, human rights, ancient and modern India, etc. He was nominated as a municipal councillor in the BMC 2012 to 2017 as a representative from the academic section, wherein he played an instrumental role in the policy making decisions of several government bodies. In 2019, he was appointed as the district coordinator for Mumbai by the International Naturopathy Organization INO to conduct the International Yoga Week in the city from 15th June to 21st June 2019. Currently, he is the head and associate professor of the Department of History at St. Xavier's College, Autonomous, Mumbai, and also the founder trustee of Kaash Foundation, Mumbai. On an all, encompassing note, he is a poet, an erudite international research scholar, a documentary maker, and a well-known historian. I would like to invite our very own Dr. Avkash Jadav for giving us his true insights on yoga.
Thank you, Preeti. Am I clearly audible?
Yes, sir.
Before I begin my deliberation, I would like to extend warm welcome once again to our collaborators, CCRYN, Moraji Desai National Institute of Yoga. I always feel humbled when I meet people like Dr. Ishwar or Dr. Raghavendra Rao or Dr. Omji Upadhyay, just to share a small experience. When I sent a small message to Dr. Ishwar Baswareddy ji, and I would like to have a word with you. Within 2 minutes, he responded back with a call, and I was so impressed that despite being a director of Moraji Desai National Institute of Yoga, he indeed had enough time to interact and talk. And immediately he said, anything for a right cause and a cause such big as this, we are ready to help you in collaboration. Similarly with Dr. Raghavendra Rao ji also, he also offered his extensive support and encouragement to us in all the possible forms, and also to Pro Vice Chancellor of Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya for being a collaborative partner. And again, they were equally encouraging in all the possible ways. And of course, my own dear friend, I always feel that sometimes your assets should not be measured by how many properties you have and what kind of bank balance you have, but the kind of friends you have around you. And there are friends who in fact give you energy to move ahead and to move forward. And Dr. Omji Upadhyay has been one such pillar of strength and support to Center for Academic and Professional Development, and as well as Kaash Foundation right from its inception. And he has always given a go ahead of activities. So Dr. Om, on behalf of Kaash Foundation family, once again, we would extend a heartfelt thanks to you to make it more clear. When I shared this idea with Dr. Om Upadhyay 1 month back, he immediately said, Dr. Saab, go ahead in whichever way you want my support. I would extend, and he did extend his support in all the possible ways. So on record, I would like to place a special thanks to Dr. Om Upadhyay. Coming to my talk, I will limit myself to now 13 minutes. That is what is the left out time for me. My topic is emotional management through yoga. Now, as we know, emotions can get in the way or get us on the way for that matter. Many times it isn't the stress that makes us fall, but it is how we respond to all the stressful events that decides our behavior pattern for that matter. When we understand yoga and the practice and the meditation for that matter, it is nothing else but awakening our unconscious, empowering our subconscious. And it is rightly said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. To take command of your life, you have to somewhere align yourself. When you align yourself and when you interact with others, when you know what you are and where you come from through yoga and meditation, and when you listen to others with empathy, you will call it fate. And when you listen to others with empathy, you will call it In a way, if you go to sea, you also offer them the solace which is there inside you. I would like to highlight through emotional management certain aspects. We meet people around us and how yoga somewhere brings us to the ground realities of the world we live in. We look at it from three parts or three types, three classifications. Existentialism, that is the belief through a combination of awareness, free will, personal responsibility. Through all this, in fact, one can construct their own meaning within the world that intrinsically has none of its own. That is what is existentialism. Then we have nihilism. Nihilism is a belief that not only is there no intrinsic meaning in the universe, but that it's pointless to try to construct our own as a substitute. And the third classification of the perception is absurdism. Absurdism is a belief that the search for meaning is inherently in conflict with the actual lack of meaning. But one should both accept this and also simultaneously rebel against it by embracing what life has to offer. Through yoga and meditation, in fact, some of these aspects get clarity. Yoga also helps us in high emotional intelligence. What are the traits of low emotional intelligence, if at all we look at? The traits of low emotional intelligence basically is being stubborn, being resistant, not to change, being passive, being impulsive, aggressivism, egoistic, quite easily distracted as such. These are the traits and questions of the low emotional intelligence. By performing and by practicing yoga, in fact, we also inculcate in us the high emotional intelligence level. How it helps us? It makes us more ambitious, constructively ambitious for that. It makes us good listener. It develops our passion with patience. It makes us less impulsive. It also makes us good listener, listening with empathy and listening with objectivity. To a great extent, if at all we see, yoga and meditation makes us very detailed, meticulous, and a careful survivor, where we understand where we're living, how do we react, how do we yoga our subconscious mind, and it not only activates, to a great extent, it makes us aware that the conscious mind, in fact, has much, much lesser potential than the subconscious mind. And when we activate our subconscious mind, then it opens up a new enigmatic life for us. It is a wider spectrum which otherwise we cannot see through our conscious eyes. Yoga takes us to the horizon. As we know, subconscious mind records everything. It is always alert and awake. It controls 95% of our lives. Our subconscious mind speaks to us in our dreams. Our subconscious mind has no language, rather no verbal language for the matter. Our subconscious mind can do trillion things at multiple levels. Our subconscious mind is not logical. There are no implications for that matter. More important, it is 1,000,000 times much more powerful than the conscious mind. Now, through yoga and correct meditation, if at all we see, we try to inculcate in our own selves a different kind of a life. Life, which I would not call it as a colorful or life away from black and white, but a life which in fact takes us to that horizon, which gives us the answer as who we are, where do we come from, and what is my purpose and objective in this life. Many times, this kind of a search is what keeps us restless or what makes us restless. I would come to different types of personalities. I'm sure you would be identifying them around you. There are people who are innocent. There are people who have sage-like personality. There are people who are explorer. There are outlaw. There are people who call themselves as hero. There are people who are compassionate. There are people who are carefree. There are people who are caregiver, there are people who are dominant. There are different types of personality which we have. Yoga, for that matter, makes us understand that we are a combination of all these personality traits. And as the time appeals, we respond accordingly. I would highlight one important aspect through my presentation, and that aspect is the types of gaslighting. How do we respond to the gaslighting? Now, you would of course ask me, what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse that is seen in abusive relationships. A victim of gaslighting can be pushed so far that they question their own sanity. Now, there are different types of gaslighting. And I would like you to connect how you can overcome and how you can identify these type of personalities around you. You have the first category of gaslighting is termed as countering. These are people who have this kind of different traits of gaslighting. A person with countering gaslighting traits questions your memory. They may ask you about things which you said and then may question you again. They may say that you never said it, or rather, are you sure you said it? Or perhaps you have a bad memory. This is a countering kind of gaslighting personality. Then you have withholding. Withholding is basically they refuse to engage with you in a conversation. They may pretend not to understand what you're saying so that they don't have to respond to you. Rather, their very common statement would be, I do not know what you're talking about. Third kind of toxic or gaslighting people we have around us, trivializing. People with trivializing trait, they try to belittle you. They try to demean you. They try to ignore your feelings. They try to insult your feelings. They disregard your existence or they disregard your potential. They also may accuse you of being oversensitive, overreacting for that matter. They will not validate your feelings and they look at you in a very trivial manner. The fourth category is denial. They deny everything for that matter. Something that occurred, something which is important to you, they may pretend that it never happened. They try to show that they have forgotten the events when it comes to you. They may also accuse you of making it up or deny that they, if at all you pull them up, they may deny that they never said it. The fifth category is diverting. They change their focus very often of a discussion or the question. And if at all you try to bring it back, they question your credibility. And if you emphasize it further, they may just use the sentences like, this is another of your trick. You are really crazy, or you are really adamant about it. And the last category of this kind of toxic personality around us, or gaslighting personality around us, is stereotyping. They use negative stereotypes about a person in different categories. It could be about gender, it could be about race, it could be about ethnicity, it could be about sexuality, it could be about nationality, it could be about age, it could be about anything. So when we survive in this kind of atmosphere, where we have to look at people from different traits, toxic matter, perhaps yoga and meditation helps us to develop a shield around us. These things do not percolate. Our identification becomes much more clear. In fact, I would rather come to my concluding part that mastering your emotions will help you to lead more effectively. Your intellect may be confused, but your emotions never lie to you. And lastly, I would say it is not that difficult to search within yourself. It is rather much more easy than to please others or the external world for that matter. Thank you very much. Over to you, Preeti ji.
Thank you so much, sir, for your beautiful insights on today's topic of emotional management through yoga. And to know that the power of subconscious mind is something which we cannot think about. And different type of personalities, about gaslighting personalities. I thank you, Dr. Kaash ji, for your valuable information. Over to you, Tatiksha.
Thank you, Om Sir and Avkash Sir. Thank you, Preeti Ma'am. To the ones who have joined in late, this is the first day of the 7-day series of the International Yoga Week organized by Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, and Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, in collaboration with Kaash Foundation's Kaash Manthan and with the support of NAPLNO Dance and Yoga Center, Prague, Czech Republic, Institute of Yoga, Harrow, United Kingdom, and Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalay, Haridwar, Uttarakhand. The initiative is also generously supported by Tattva Elements of Healing, Arogya Yoga and Naturopathy Institute of Wellness Engineering, Uday Ek Naya Sabera, Pride Age India, Silver Innings, Swami Samarthya Vyayam Mandir, Mandapeshwar Utsav Samiti. Also, for all the viewers, the feedback form is in the description. Until now, we have had our guest of honor, Dr. Chinmay Pandya, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalay, Haridwar, Uttarakhand, India, speaking on the topic relevance of yoga. And our chief guest, Dr. Ishwar Basarva Reddy, Director, Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, speaking on yoga, our ancient wisdom and its relevance today. We also had Dr. Raghavendra Rao, Director, Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, as our inaugural speaker, sharing his views on the topic, the role of yoga in COVID. The event was further graced by a special guest, Dr. Omji Upadhyay, Director, Research and Administration, Indian Council of Historical Research, New Delhi, India, and Dr. Kaash Jadhav, Head and Associate Professor, Department of History, St. Xavier's College, Autonomous, Mumbai, India, who spoke on the topics Yoga, the only path for a holistic well-being, and Emotion Management through Yoga, respectively. And with this, it's now time to conclude the event. But before we bid each other farewell, this show has to have a unique conclusion, just like its unique host. And to give this unique end, I would like to invite Ms. Niharika Malvankar and Ms. Brisha Malvankar, the youngest team members of Kaash Foundation, to recite a Sanskrit shloka. Niharika and Brisha, the floor is all yours.
Hello everyone, my name is Niharika Kalpana Vinayak Malvankar. Hello. My name is Risha and we are the members of Kaash Foundation. Today we are going to recite a Sanskrit shloka. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. This means, may everybody be happy, everybody should be free of disease, all people see good, and nobody should be sad or in pain. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Niharika and Risha, for reciting the Sanskrit shloka in your beautiful voice. This brings us to the end of the inauguration ceremony, and it's now time to bid each other farewell. But before we say our final goodbyes for the day 1 of the 7-day series of the International Yoga Week, I would like to take this opportunity to once again thank our guest of honor, Dr. Chinmay Pandya, our chief guest, Dr. Ishwar Basarva Reddy, our inaugural speaker, Dr. Raghavendra Rao, our special guest, Dr. Omji Upadhyay and Dr. Kaash Jadhav, for giving this time out of their busy schedules and sharing with us their knowledge and experience. I would also like to take this honor to extend my gratitude to all the organizers, that are Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, and Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, a collaborator, Kaash Foundation's Kaash Manthan, and our supporters, NAPLNO Dance and Yoga Center, Prague, Czech Republic, Institute of Yoga, Harrow, United Kingdom, Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalay, Haridwar, Uttarakhand, Tattva Elements of Healing, Arogya Yoga and Naturopathy Institute of Wellness Engineering, Uday Ek Naya Sabera, Pride Age India, Silver Innings, Swami Samarthya Vyayam Mandir, Mandapeshwar Utsav Samiti. I would also like to thank the audience and the viewers for joining us and making this event a grand success. I also present my gratitude to the volunteers of the Youth Brigade of Kaash Foundation, without whom this event would not have been possible. Special thanks to Ms. Renuka Vyas, Ms. Alpa Mehta, Ms. Megha Patel, Ms. Pamela Dhonde, Ms. Gauravi Pradhan, Master Harsh Arkal, Ms. Niharika Malvankar, Ms. Risha Malvankar. Special thanks to Akansha Kaushik from CCRYN, Dr. Omji Upadhyay, Dr. Udham Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Yogic Sciences, Gurukula Kangri, Haridwar, Ms. Rama Subramaniam from Prague, Czech Republic, Sri Sunil Kapoor of the Madhyapeshwar Utsav Samiti, Ms. Ashwini Sakhalkar from Sanskar Kendra, and Ms. Yamini Kapoor for their constant support and encouragement to make this event a successful one. Thank you all for joining us. Kindly tune in tomorrow for the day 2 of the 7-day series of the International Yoga Week being held on 16th of June 2021 at the same time from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. It will be the 12th International Symposium. Make sure to be there as we will be having Dr. Suresh Lal Banpal, Dean and Head, Department of Yogic Sciences and Human Consciousness, School of Indology, Faculty of Yoga and Health, Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar, Uttarakhand, India, and Ms. Yana Bagarova, founder, NAPLNO, Dance and Yoga Center, Prague, Czech Republic, as a special guest speaking on the topics yogic lifestyle in the present scenario and elucidation of life through yoga in Czech Republic, respectively. With this, we conclude our day 1 of the 7-day series of the International Yoga Week. Do subscribe and stay tuned to our YouTube channel, Kaash Foundation, Mumbai, to get exclusive notifications. For more information about Kaash Foundation, kindly visit the Kaash Foundation website, www.kaashfoundation.org. Also, do visit us, find us on our Instagram account, Kaash_Foundation_org. On Facebook, WordPress, and YouTube as Kaash Foundation, Mumbai. Till then, sanitize your hands, wear your masks, take care, and stay safe. This is Ms. Diksha Kabra, member of Youth Brigade of Kaash Foundation, signing off.